Morning, honorable members and committee support. May I just check if we have got the numbers to process the agenda before us today?
Morning, Chairperson. We have the numbers. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you.
Recording in progress.
With that having been said, formally again greet you, honorable members. Also saw that the Deputy Minister has also joined the committee on the platform. We also greet you, Deputy Minister, as well as civil society structures that are consistently taking interest in the work of the committee by joining on the platform. Fellow South Africans who are following deliberations of the committee using different platforms provided for by Parliament. I would, honorable members, as I welcome you, I reflect as a South African that I take it we've done our part and will continue to do our part in ensuring that South Africans who are eligible to vote are indeed registered voters in districts where they are located. And I'm sure over the weekend, extraordinary efforts would have been made by ourselves in our different capacities and activities that would have been around the country to assist the Independent Electoral Commission to be able to do its work, that of ensuring protection of our democracy through participation of our citizens in the electoral process. With that having been said, honorable members, of course, we are convened here today as a portfolio committee of communications and digital technologies in the National Assembly. And as we are convened, we have a set agenda that would have been circulated to yourselves as per the notice convening this meeting. So this being that meeting, it is therefore subjected to the rules of the National Assembly on meetings convened on this platform. And therefore, I'll just do a reminder for all members and all other participants that may be on the call to adhere to those. The first is to remind ourselves, honored members, that at all times our video cameras should be switched off, mics muted until you are recognized by the chairperson when you are to speak, and then you'll therefore proceed to unmute your mic, switch on your video camera in situations where you may be experiencing connectivity challenges. You'd indicate for the permission of the chairperson to allow you to switch off your video camera so as to maximize the bandwidth and be able to proceed to speak. From time to time, there may be those that may be losing connectivity and have to reconnect to the platform. Please ensure at all times as you do that, that your video camera is off and your mic is muted, as mics are sensitive and therefore could pick up background sounds that could disrupt the meeting or the speaker that may be the platform. Of course, whilst point of orders are allowed in terms of the rules, members must ensure that if you are raising a point of order, use your gadget to raise your hand so that the chair identifies you. In a case where the chair is unable to, the committee support will assist the chair to identify the name. You will keep your mic muted and your video camera off until recognized by the chair. Then proceed to unmute your mic and raise the point of order on which the chairperson could rule upon in terms of the rules of the National Assembly. We're further guided that we do not raise unnecessary point of orders to a point of the meeting collapsing on this platform. With those reminders, honorable members and participants on the platform, that should help us to qualitatively engage in our meeting. As I said, I've been told that we can proceed. We have the numbers, but for purposes of record, would then get apologies that may have been received by the committee support. I know in this meeting in particular, as we're not dealing with matters that the executive need to report on, but purely a committee meeting to finalize the items that are before us. I would in particular look at members where there may have been apologies received. May I just check that support?
Morning, Chairperson. For members, apologies received with Ms. Mazzoni, and Mr. Malala is on the Zoom, but he is in transit, Chairperson. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Mazzoni's apology has been tendered. Honorable Mlala, who has also put it on the chat, that from time to time he may have connectivity challenges. I'm sure that's the reason he's indicating that he's on transit, but he is on the platform. I'm sure by the time of deliberations, he'll probably would have reached the next point. With that having been said, honorable members, I take it that there's no objection in us agreeing to those apologies. Unless I'm leaving any member who may have another apology that has not been forwarded to committee support. Any other apology? Okay, no apology from members. So those are agreed to. Of course, as we move to those items that are on the agenda, the first, it's about the deliberation or finalization of the SAPO Amendment Bill, B11 of 2023. And then we take the adoption of minutes and outstanding reports. So this would be those that members would have received. Of course, as I do that, let me also dispense with just one or two things which are important for the attention of members. That as we finalize the bill today, I've continuously made the follow-up and asked the committee support, in particular the content advisors, to also look at those matters that have been raised with the committee and establish that indeed the report we said must be sent back to people who are engaged, that report from the department on those operational or service delivery related matters would have been sent, and that they must also make sure that indeed those that had nothing to do with the committee but other committees just follow the secretaries in those committees, that those matters would have been received, probably getting their attention in that regard. So I've asked them to do so, so that when we close, we're able to still confirm that that has been done, because once the bill moves from here, it will get to the House. So we don't want to get to debates as though we never listened to what people raised in our participation process. So that's the first thing. The second thing is with regard to the SABC bill. of course, I take it that those members would have opened their emails, would have received a letter addressed to the chairperson by SOS and MMA, in the main motivating for the extension of time for their submission, given the holidays and all that. But from where we are, in any way, as reported before, the matters would have been procurement in the main, which is not in the purview of the chair, and that they would have not altered the time to suit our 30-day turnaround. And once that would have been out, that's the interaction I've been having with our content people and committee support, that we are able to address that aspect, of course, carefully, so that addressing it does not mean the chairperson getting involved in the supply chain related matters, but more from a point that public participation must be a meaningful one. So as we receive this letter, there's already been that consideration on our part, of course, without interfering with supply chain. We do so because when we dealt with the post bank, we did have a situation where even in the 30-day cycle that we would have had, when we're not satisfied with the level of submissions, we extended almost twice, just to ensure that the public participation indeed is meaningful. So in that regard, we would respond to SOS and MMA in a way that allay their fears that there's no intention of the committee to stifle engagement by people. And that's the reason we have called for public comments. However, we need to be very accurate before we take the information out on proper calculation of those days and what would be lost, given that there will also be holidays that must be factored in where people may not be in a position to respond. So on your behalf, I would indeed respond. However, I must state this, that whilst we respect the work that the NGOs do, but the committees are run from the rules of the National Assembly, and an agenda is determined on the basis of that. But again, the rules makes it quite clear that the chairperson acts on behalf of the committee on matters of interest of the committee. I take it to be an error of judgment from the writers of the letter dated 20th, and today is the 21st, that before we even consider and respond, it's circulated to members when it's not addressed to members. It has got a few implications. That one, members will also be questioning themselves as to why the chairperson does not respond in terms of the rules on such correspondence addressed to him, but circulated to them. So from the chair's side, we have not circulated because I had not considered that letter. I have seen it also early this morning, and I'll respond accordingly. But we'll also advise that it shouldn't happen in the future that you address the letter to the chair, not to members, but circulate it to members, because it can send a very wrong message. But again, the determination of the agenda is not a matter of co-governance between the elected representatives of the people and non-governmental organizations. Everyone else is governed by rules in that space. So we'll be able to at least address those so that our relations could improve, so that there is no chance of anyone undermining the role of NGO as well as the role of those that are elected. So that's the second point I thought I should dispense with. so that it doesn't look like we didn't care to respond, hence the letter is circulated to yourselves. So it's not from committee support, but directly from the organization. And I hope that as members will work together on those, that we give space to those that must process issues to process them. Probably the other last point would be that, as members would know, we had an adopted program, but there are matters that we agreed that we still have to bring back to the committee. But also because we do listen to these submissions that get made even by NGOs. You would remember, members, I did indicate that there was a concern raised about the white paper on audio and visual content that has not been dealt with, which is not really in our purview. And we committed that we will also get that matter to be understood by the committee and South Africans. We have canvassed the agreement of the department to bring that item on where the white paper is in our next meeting. We've also put up the item on us being briefed on the business rescue process. I've also seen a copy of a letter Honorable Botlani yesterday with regard to some challenges in the post offices as stated in the letter you've received. I know that you've just copied it whilst you've written to the relevant people. If no response is received, at least when we deal with that item on SAPO formally, we would be able to interrogate that discussion on what happens with branches and so on, not just there, but generally, as they get closer, how do we deal with those gaps that are created where people will get to another point where their information is not available. So I do appreciate that. But we're bringing that item formally for the committee to be briefed. The only item that will stand over, as you'll be aware, is the corporate plan of the SAPC, which we sent back for realignment and so on. And the SAPC did indicate that they will be submitting to the minister or to the shareholder by the end of November. We'll then again plead with members that in a case where we need to convene, as you are to get constituents work and approval is given, that we're able to still engage that item before we take a break, so that other assurances wanted could be explained. So I'm dealing with this so that as we proceed with the meeting and others may leave in between, that would have dealt with this as part of my official opening remarks as the chairperson of the meeting. Like I said, we are having those items now that we'll deal with. And the first item is on finalisation or deliberations on the SAPO amendment bill. And we will do as expected, that we go through it, taking into account that we have already dealt with the amendments that are needed in the A list that we dealt with in the previous meeting.
Chairperson, this is the new A-list chair, just to have a look.
Okay. May I just check if all members are able to see on your side?
Yes, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Amendments proposed to Portfolio Committee to the South African Post Office SOC LT Amendment Bill. So that's B11A. 2023 Portfolio Committee on Communications and Digital Technologies. We can go down. So these other amendments of which we still dealt with, and others are really about crime and so on. That clause 3, I take it that we agreed to that amendment, substituting the word exploit. I will just check if members have got any point they want to go to on the amendments in terms of the A list, so that we get to the one of getting through to confirm changes. You can scroll down. So these were agreed upon. I take it there's still no dissenting view on the changes, not on the actual bill, on the changes that we've done. So this argument on that can then move to next one.
This is the B version of the bill, Chair.
Thank you. The South African Post Office SOC Ltd Amendment Bill, as introduced in the National Assembly, proposed as a Section 75 bill, explanatory summary of the bill and prior notice of its introduction published in the Government Gazette, number 48149, 28 February 2023, and the English text is the official text of the bill as introduced by Minister of Communications and Digital Technologies. As this is B11, it's the B side, 2023 of the bill. Again, this will help because I will not be repeating like I did. I will just now read through whatever the changes, just to keep in mind on the general explanatory note, words in bold type, square brackets indicate omissions from existing enactments. Words underlined with a solid line indicate insertions in existing enactments. I will then proceed on the proposal of the bill. The bill is to amend the South African Post Office SOC Ltd Act 2011 so as to provide for the revised duties and expand on the mandate of South African Post Office as provided for in this Act and the Postal Services Act 1998. Provide for the repurposing of the post office infrastructure so as to provide diversified and expanded services and exploit the infrastructure capacity to extract value and forge partnerships with other stakeholders. To provide for the revised governance structure of the South African Post Office. To provide for the establishment, appointment, and functions of the STEM Advisory Committee, and to provide for matters connected therewith. I take it that members also agree there that it's still as it was. We can then move to the other point. Be enacted by Parliament of the Republic of South Africa as follows. On amendment of Section 1, Act 22 of 2011 is amended by Section 1, Act 38 of 2013. On 1, Section 1 of the South African Post Office SOC Ltd Act 2011, herein referred to as the Principal Act, is hereby amended. Of A, by substitution for the definition of the department, the following definition: department means the Department of Communications and Digital Technologies. Paragraph B, by insertion after the definition of family member of the following definition: financial services means financial services which include, amongst others, money transfer and remittance payment and prepaid services, ticket sale, and any other financial services the minister may determine from time to time. Paragraph C, by the insertion after the definition of the Public Finance Management Act of the following definitions: service points means an infrastructure where the post office services can be accessed from. Stamp Advisory Committee means the Stamp Advisory Committee established by section capital letter A. Then Universal Postal Services means universal services as defined in license issued in terms of section 16 of Postal Services Act. Maybe just before we move on this one, if I may just check that again, there's still agreement. And this is where Mr. Dejana, I would want you, if you are on the platform, because I can't see now that the screen is like this. Mr. Dejana and Ms. Pulu, Mdlulu, if you can indicate. The understanding was that the one aspect was cleared in the main document. Shouldn't it be the case there on 14 capital letter A? I just want to be sure on that. So if you can just keep that in mind when you come in to clarify that you asked that it was an error which needed to be addressed, whether you are referring to this one when we're dealing with it in the board. If not, you'll say it's fine.
Good morning, Chairperson. Oh, okay. Do you want me to come in, Chair?
No, I was just saying keep that note.
Okay.
So that when you come in, so for us to also save time, so that when you come in, you can deal with that aspect only, and any other aspect that may arise. So I'm just doing it in case there's nothing else. It will mean at least just one point to clarify, and we can go back to that page. I hope that assists you in that regard.
Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you. We now move to next page. Amendment of Section 2 of Act 22 of 2011, objects of the Act. And 2, Section 2 of the Principal Act is hereby amended by deletion of the word "and" at the end of paragraph D, by substituting for full stop at the end of paragraph E of and by the addition of the following paragraphs. Paragraph F, expand the objects and mandate of the post office to include services that responds to the needs of the users and customers. Now move to amendment of Section 4 of Act 22 of 2011 on duties and mandate of post office. And 3, Section 4 of the Principal Act is hereby amended as follows. Paragraph A, by the substitution for the heading of the following heading: duties and mandate of post office. Paragraph B, by deletion in subsection 1 of the word "and" at the end of paragraph K. Paragraph C, by the substitution in subsection 1 for paragraph L of the following paragraph. Paragraph L, ensure compliance with international commitments relevant to postal and related industries in the provision of postal, courier, and other related services to the extent that is permitted by domestic law. And paragraph D, by the addition after paragraph L of the following paragraphs. Paragraph M, provide logistics and e-commerce services and serve as logistic partner for e-commerce and other logistic players, including SMMEs and informal traders. Paragraph N, serve as digital hub for business and communities. Paragraph O, serve as designated authentication authority that also fulfills its role as a national trust center in the age of digital identity and services. Paragraph P, serves as a hub for government services and other agency services. Paragraph Q, provide different services at the post offices and service points based on the needs assessment for a particular area and to ensure the effective usage and enhancement of retail offerings and services. R, continuously adjust its business model in line with the technological and industrial developments in the provision of postal services and other services, and to enhance the provision of universal service obligation, including the rollout of service points and the use of third-party infrastructure and other related services, subject to approval of the minister. Paragraph S, ensure the implementation of national address system and development and maintenance of national address database. And paragraph T, provide for any business that is responsive to the needs of users, consumers, and citizens, and make the best use of the infrastructure capacity to extract value and forge partnerships with other stakeholders with the approval of the minister. Amendment of Section 7 of Act 22 of 2011. And for Section 7 of the Principal Act is hereby amended, paragraph A, by the substitution for subsection 1 of the following subsection. So 1. Parliament may fund the normal expenditure of the Post Office to ensure universal postal services and any other social mandate services as determined by the minister, out of money appropriated for the purpose. And paragraph B, by the addition after subsection 4 of the following subsection, which is subsection 5. Government institutions, which include national and provincial departments, national and provincial government components, and municipalities are encouraged to utilize post office infrastructure in the delivery of their services and set aside certain services to be provided by the post office to assist in eliminating over-reliance on government funding by the post office and ensure efficient utilization of the post offices. Amendment of Section 8 of Act 22 of 2011 as amended by Section 3 of Act 38 of 2013. 5. Section 8 of the Principal Act is hereby amended. Paragraph A, by the substitution for subsection 2 of the following subsection. Then subsection 2, the board consists of, paragraph A, not more than 9 and not less than 5 non-executive members appointed in terms of Section 11. And paragraph B, by the substitution of subsection 3 of the following subsection. Subsection 3, the chairperson must be appointed by the minister from non-executive members of the board. Paragraph C, by the substitution for subsection 4 of the following section. Subsection 4, the board may designate any other non-executive member to act as the chairperson if the chairperson is absent or unable to perform his or her functions. And paragraph D, by the deletion of subsection 5 and 6. Amendment of Section 9 of Act 22 of 2011 as amended by Section 3 of Act 38 of 2013. Section 6. Section 9 of the Principal Act is hereby amended by insertion after paragraph A of the following paragraph. A, capital letter A, must develop a credit plan facility wherein paragraph Roman figure 1, subparagraph Roman figure 1, the post office shall enter into agreement and negotiate payment arrangements with its creditors. And Roman figure 2, such plan must include evaluation of the post office debt source, funding either from fiscus or in the market, and appropriate steps to cancel evergreen contracts. Amendment of Section 11 of Act 22 of 2011 is amended by Section 4 of the Act 38 of 2013. Section 7, Section 11 of the Principal Act is hereby amended. Paragraph A, by the substitution in subsection 1 for the following for the words following paragraph B of the following words. I go to submit within the period and in the manner mentioned in the notice the names of persons fit to be appointed as members of the board. As you see there, there's omission. B, paragraph B, by deletion in subsection 4 of paragraph A, subparagraph Roman figure B1. Paragraph C, by the deletion in subsection 4 of paragraph C. And paragraph D, by the substitution in subsection 7 for paragraph A of the following paragraph. A, the minister must appoint, on figure 1, 2 non-executive members of the board from suitable persons nominated by trade unions contemplated in subsection 1, paragraph B, with required skills, knowledge, qualifications, and experience as contemplated in subsection 4. And Roman figure 2, the other non-executive members of the board from suitable persons as contemplated in subsection 4. Now move to amendment of section 12 of Act 22 of 2011. On 8, section 12 of the Principal Act is hereby amended, paragraph A, by the substitution in subsection 2 for paragraph E of the following paragraph. Now paragraph E reads, neglected to properly perform the functions of his or her office and based on negative assessment during annual general meetings. And paragraph B, by deletion in subsection 2 of paragraph F. We now move to 9, which is the insertion of section 14 capital letter A to 14 capital letter F in Act 22 of 2011. The following sections are hereby inserted after section 14 of the Principal Act, which is appointment and composition of STEM Advisory Committee. 14 capital letter A, I'm sure you'll take note, Mr. Dejana. Again, A, subsection 1, the minister must establish a STEM Advisory Committee and appoint not more than 9 persons as members of STEM Advisory Committee. Section 2, the STEM Advisory Committee consists of A, 2 members appointed from non-executive members of the board. Paragraph B, 1 representative from departments responsible for communications and digital technologies, arts, sports and culture, and basic education. And paragraph C, not more than 4 persons appointed on the basis of their knowledge, experience, and expertise in the area referred to in subsection 8. Subsection 3, the minister must appoint a non-executive member contemplated in subsection 2, paragraph A, as chairperson of the STEM Advisory Committee. Section 4, for the purposes of appointing the persons contemplated in subsection 2, paragraph C, the minister must by notice Gazette sorry, and in 2 national newspapers, publish an invitation to the public to submit nominations for membership of the STEM Advisory Committee. Section 5, the notice contemplated in subsection 4 must specify a period of at least 30 days for nominations to be submitted to the minister. Subsection 6, the minister must appoint a panel to consider the nominations received in terms of subsection 5. Section 7, the panel must compile a shortlist, not more than 8 candidates to be considered by the minister and the board for appointment as members of the STEM Advisory Committee. Subsection 8, the panel must ensure that the candidates, paragraph A, are representative of the South African society and represent the public and private sectors, academic or research institutions, non-governmental organizations, and philanthropy organizations, and subsection B, have appropriate expertise in the areas of arts and culture. That's Roman figure 1. Figure 2, marketing. Roman figure 3, environmental development. Roman figure 4, education. Roman figure 5, history. Figure V1, graphic design, or Roman figure A2, any other field of expertise relevant to STEM design. 9, the minister and the board must ensure that the members contemplated in subsection 2, paragraph C, represent a sufficient spread of skills, knowledge, qualifications, and expertise referred to in subsection 8. Subsection 10, the minister must, within 30 days after appointing the members, publish a notice in the Gazette containing the names of the persons appointed as members of the STEM Advisory Committee. On 11, a member of the STEM Advisory Committee contemplated in subsection 2, paragraph C, paragraph A, holds office for a period not exceeding 5 years. B, may be reappointed after his or her term of office has expired, but may not serve for more than 2 consecutive terms. Paragraph C is appointed on a part-time basis, and paragraph D must be paid from the revenue of the post office, such revenue and such allowances as may be determined by the minister with the concurrence of the Minister of Finance. Subsection 12, a member of the STEM Advisory Committee contemplated in subsection 2, paragraph C, may resign by giving 30 days written notice to the minister through the board. Section 13, the STEM Advisory Committee shall exist. The STEM Advisory Committee that exists immediately before the South African Post Office SOC Ltd Amendment Act takes effect continues to exist for a period of 6 months or for such period until the new committee is established and members are appointed. Subsection 14, the members appointed under subsection 2, paragraph A and B will be serving for a period 5 years as long as they are under the employ of the organization that has nominated them, or any period as provided by the respective organization. Subsection 15, the organization referred to in subsection 2 must inform the minister when a member that has been appointed can no longer serve in the committee and provided a substitute for that member. Again here, Mr. Dejana, before we move to B, just on the period, again, a point of consistency. Is it a period of not more than 5 years, or is it a period of 5 years? just to be consistent with what is higher up there on the term of office. Please keep note. Functions of STEM Advisory Committee, that's on 14, capital letter B. The STEM Advisory Committee must, paragraph A, advise the board on the implementation, monitoring, and evaluation of philatelic strategy. Paragraph B, provide the board with advice on events and themes that may be celebrated on STEMs and ensure that selection of themes reflects the broad spectrum of South African culture, history, environment, economic, and social development. Paragraph C, assist in identifying, articulating, and prioritizing themes for the annual STEM program and commemorative STEMs and recommendations to the board. And paragraph D, encourage and facilitate stakeholder participation in the development of themes for the annual STEM program. On disqualification from members of STEM Advisory Committee, which is section 14C, a person may not be appointed as a member of the STEM Advisory Committee contemplated in section 14A, subsection 2, paragraph C, or remain a member if he or she, paragraph A, is not a South African or permanent resident of the Republic, B, is an unrehabilitated insolvent, C, has been declared mentally ill by a competent court, paragraph D, has at any time been convicted of an offense involving dishonesty, whether in the Republic or elsewhere, or paragraph E, has been removed from office on account of misconduct. Removal from STEM Advisory Committee on 14, capital letter D, that's the section I'm dealing with. The minister may remove a member of the STEM Advisory Committee contemplated in section 14, capital letter A, subsection 2, from office. Paragraph A, on account of misconduct. Paragraph B, on account of inability to perform the duties of that member's office effectively. Paragraph C, if the member is absent from 3 consecutive meetings of the STEM Advisory Committee without the prior permission of the chairperson, except on good cause shown. Or paragraph D, if the member has engaged in conduct which brings or may bring the STEM Advisory Committee or the activities of the STEM Advisory Committee into disrepute or threatens the integrity of the STEM Advisory Committee. On vacancies in STEM Advisory Committee, section 14, capital letter E, subsection 1, a member of the STEM Advisory Committee vacates office if that member, paragraph A, tenders a resignation in terms of section 14A. In terms of section 14, capital letter A, subsection 12, and such resignation takes effect. Paragraph B, becomes subject to disqualification referred to in section 14, capital letter C, or paragraph C is removed from office in terms of section 14, capital letter D. Subsection 2, paragraph A, if a member of the STEM Advisory Committee dies or vacates his or her office before the expiration of his or her term of office, the minister must appoint another person to hold office for the unexpired portion of the period for which that person's predecessor was appointed. Paragraph B, in making an appointment in terms of paragraph A, the minister must comply. Section 14, capital letter A. On meetings and recommendations by the STEM Advisory Committee, when on section 14, capital letter F, subsection 1, the STEM Advisory Committee, paragraph A, must meet 4 times a year. And paragraph B, must determine its own procedures to be followed at its meetings. Subsection 2, paragraph A, a quorum for a meeting of the STEM Advisory Committee is the majority of the total number of the members, which is 50% plus 1. And on subsection 2, paragraph B, a decision by the majority of the members present at a meeting of the STEM Advisory Committee constitute a decision of the STEM Advisory Committee. Paragraph C, the decision of the STEM Advisory Committee in relation to the STEM program and commemorative stamps must be submitted to the board for consideration and submission to the Minister for final approval. Amendment of Section 17 of the Act 22 of 2011, on Section 10. Section 17 of the Principal Act is hereby amended by substitution for Section 1 of the following subsection. Subsection 1, the appointment of the Chief Executive Officer is subject to the conclusion of an annual performance agreement with the board. Amendment of Section 25 of Act 22 of 2011. On 11, Section 25 of the Principal Act is hereby amended. Paragraph A, by the substitution in subsection 1 for the words preceding paragraph A of the following words. Subsection 1, the Minister may direct the board to take any action specified by the Minister if the post office. And then paragraph B, by the substitution for subsection 3 of the following subsection. Subsection 3, if the board fails to comply with directive contemplated in subsection 1 within the stated period, the Minister may, paragraph A, after having given the board a reasonable opportunity to be heard, and B, after having afforded the board a hearing on any submission received, replace the members of the board, or where circumstances so require, appoint a person as an administrator to take over relevant function of the board. Paragraph C, by the substitution in subsection 4 for paragraph A of the following paragraph. Paragraph A, the administrator may do anything which the board might otherwise be empowered or required to do by or under this Act. Paragraph D, by the deletion of subsection 4, paragraph B. Paragraph E, by the substitution in subsection 5 for paragraph B of the following paragraph. And then paragraph B, within 12 months of appointing the administrator, table a report on his or her findings in the National Assembly. And paragraph F, by the substitution in subsection 7, paragraph C, for subparagraph from and figure 2 of the following subparagraph. Subparagraph from and figure 2 must, as soon as it is feasible, but not later than 12 months after the dissolution of the board, replace members of the board in accordance with section 11. And the short title and commencement. This Act is called the South African Post Office SOC Ltd Amendment Act of 2023 and comes into operation on a date to be determined by the President by proclamation in the Gazette. That's the memorandum side, which would have dealt with, but I want to start on the main, the bill itself. Firstly, to afford Mr. Dejana, if you want to clarify anything, or the bill therefore suffices as it stands from a legal point of
Good morning, Honorable Chairperson, and to honorable members. Good morning to the Deputy Minister and my colleagues. Chairperson, perhaps I just need to explain why are we here? And when I say why are we here, I mean, Chair, that you will recall that last week we presented to the committee a draft A list. And of course, in terms of the changes were proposed, the committee warmed up to those. But today, Chair, and this is what I explained to the committee secretariat as well, is that we've got two technical amendments, Chair, which we've added. And the reason why I still raise proposed amendments is because, Chair, our understanding is that once a bill serves before Parliament, it is a matter to be determined by members of Parliament. And therefore, as technocrats, Chair, even if we effect technical amendments, those amendments must first serve before the committee, and the committee must endorse them prior to us reflecting them as adopted amendments. So, Chairperson, for instance, on page 5 in line 18, we omit minister, and of course, Chair, that is just a typo, and we substitute that by minister. And on page 5, Chair, in line 19, after newspapers, to omit published, comma. And last week, Chair, the comma was not there, so we put the comma this week, and to substitute comma, publish, so that it reads well as it does, Chair, in the PPL. So that's the first point, Chair. The second point, Chair, is that you've raised a matter of consistency in respect of section 14 capital A 11A, which reads as follows, and of course reference is made to the appointment and composition of STEM advisory committee, holds office for a period not exceeding 3 years. And of course, if you look at 14 capital A, subsection 14, it reads, the members appointed under subsection 2A and B will be serving for a period of 3 years. Now, Chair, my reading change.
5 years.
Yes. So my reading change is that A says holds office for a period not exceeding 3 years. But then 14.
Yeah, 5 years.
Yeah, says 5 years. But
not 3.
But 14, Chair, only refers to 2A and 2B. So 2A and 2B, the point has already been made, Chair, that not exceeding 5 years. So sorry, Chair, for saying 3. Not exceeding 5 years. And the subsection, Chair, which is 14, speaks about 3 years. It just makes a reference to the fact that their term won't be more than 5 years. So, Chair, I don't see a problem there. Okay. From an angle of interpretation, Chair.
Okay.
Yes.
Is Mr. Bruno on the platform in case there is any matter you want to advise the committee on?
Good morning, Chair. Thank you for the opportunity. Chair, I don't have a problem with what is reflected on the BBL. All is well as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
May I now come to the members with those technical matters that have been raised, as we have already read them with the bill. Can I get an understanding there in terms of whether it's agreed to, or if the members may have any issue to raise against?
Mr. Dekani, Chair.
Committee support will also help me. I didn't hear you.
Mr. Dekani, Chair.
I can't hear you. I just hope I can still be heard myself.
Mr. Richard
Chairperson,
Pascal.
Honorable Mtakane. Honorable Mtakane, your hand is up. You are recognized.
No, thank you very much, Honorable Chair. I think the presentation is very helpful, as assisted, and also they've captured many areas that we've raised. I can just see in the title that they still retained exploit after we have discussed it several times, not married to it, but it's very good for them to do things according to the decision that we have made as a committee. If it's possible, they should still do that.
You are on page, Honorable Mtakane, on page?
On the title, that is the explanation. Somewhere, I think it's first paragraph in terms of the presentation of your appeal. That is right at the top.
Okay,
not on this side. When we explain the whole issue, where we discuss the issue of exploit versus with some of the issues there. But okay, not on this one. Right on the, just down, Chair. I think right at I just saw it from the chair that we had not.
Yes, I'm asking the committee support to start from the top and then we go down so that we.
Yeah, no. Yes. I just see here on the whole issue, the main purpose why we are trying to do it. I do think that expanded services and exploit the infrastructure, I think we have changed that. And then I'm not sure whether I'm correct or not. But it's fine. I think the staff will see.
Yes, you're correct. No, you're correct.
Yeah. I'm
we
just saying that.
Exploit, make the best of.
Yeah, make the best of, yes. And with that, Comrade Chair, I think I'm very happy with them and we should have dealt with it. And I agree that we should accept it. And then the follow-up processes should follow accordingly. And move for acceptance of the technical amendment that we have made. Comrade Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Mtakane. So it's a matter that was agreed upon, so probably an error that we bring the same version instead of the one you dealt. Drafters would take note of that. It's an error. But in content terms, there's an agreement. Can I get a second on that? That with that clarified that were agreed to in terms of the main bill. It's not I go to them. Do we have an agreement with Honorable Mtakane's proposal? Can I get a member?
No, agreed, Chair.
That's Honorable Kumba agreed. An objection? No objection, except for the concern on the entire bill that the DA recorded as a standing matter until the review. We can now move to the memo. So we agreed to the bill. Let me start on this one from the legal people. So that's what they would have captured as summary. Otherwise, what members need to decide on is the making of the law, which is what we have dealt with in the first part. If there are areas to look at, or if there's any matter they would want to indicate to the committee which needs alignment, especially with technical changes that would have been made if that affects what they would have put initially as the summary of the bill. Mr. Tejan and Ms.
I didn't get you, Chair. Sorry, Chair, for that. I didn't get you.
All right, I'm saying the changes that have been made, we are now on the memorandum for objects of the South African Post Office SOC Ltd Amendment Bill, whether there are matters to be aligned. Otherwise, from where we are, what the members deal with in the main is the actual bill, and therefore this is in the main the summary of the points made in the bill and processes that may have been followed and consultations done for the bill was also introduced. Yeah, so I wanted to check if you have got any comments you'd want to highlight to members, whether it's issues of alignment, so that the summary reflects indeed what is in the bill. So that's the opportunity we're giving to both of you, so that we decide whether to really go through line by line with the memorandum.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Chairperson, I don't think there's a need for you to do that. I think all we will do, Chair, given the fact that I think you can see from the objects of the bill that exploit, Chair, which Honorable Mulala and Honorable Dagana are opposed to, still appears. So, of course, Chair, will align that. And after that, Chair, look, we've gone through the memorandum, Chair, and it aligns, I mean, with what is in the bill. So there's no need for you, Chair, to read this. We will simply effect that small technical amendment, Chair. And of course, after that, it should be all systems go. Thanks, Chairperson.
That's fine, but I'll just, again, for purposes of record, check if from the state law advisor side, if there's any matter to raise or they are satisfied thus far, so that we move to the next item then.
Thank you, Chair. There's nothing to add. I agree with this, the parliamentary law advisor. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable members, again, let me thank you for doing what the rules of the National Assembly expects of us when a bill is presented before Parliament. So we dealt with that part. Of course, we now need to look at a report, as the committee support would have also been taking notes in every step as part of preparing such a report to be adopted by the committee, so as to conclude the process. So thanks for going through that clause by clause for almost 2 meetings. With that, if you can flight the report.
Can you see the report, Chair?
It's not coming out on my side. Honorable members, on your side, are you able to see a report?
We can, Chair.
A minute. Let me switch off and see if it improves my side. But if you do see it on your side, honorable members, we can start looking at the report. Report of the Portfolio Committee, that's the one on communications and digital technologies on the South African Post Office SOC Ltd Amendment Bill. So the actual report would be going then the page by page as we usually do. and check if there's a point. So please don't go very fast, but don't be slow. So hurry but slowly. That's the first point there, explaining the tagging, as well as the tabling to Parliament. And then to the objects of bill. Again, I just want to be sure that the technical matters raised are dealt with the exploit. So if we make the correction there. Make the best of the infrastructure. Okay, so that will then be corrected. We move to next paragraph. Three. Briefing by the department, move move. Honorable members, that's the report, but I think in the main, what the report is that my notes think something else here. If committee support, you can just go to the written submission. Is that Honorable Bodani?
Yes, Chairperson, thank you. Chair, I think maybe I'm on the same page of confusion with you. What the notice that we received for today's meeting clearly does say that we are going to deal with the SAPO amendment bill. But what was sent to us for this meeting is the SABC corporate plan report. And I think that's why I kept quiet, because for this meeting, my preparation was on that. But I think previously the SAPO amendment bill report was sent. I'm not sure where we are. I'm feeling a bit lost, Chair. So your guidance, please.
No, I'll then help in this regard. Maybe if committee support would clarify about the report, they will do that. But the understanding I have is that we would have gone through the process of the bill. The report that we are looking at now summarizes the journey of that process. And therefore, at the end, would then need to make that adoption on the desirability of the bill. And of course, it notes that whilst we do it, it should also be recorded that there's this part of the objection from the DA. It also tells about the processes the department would have gone through, including the socio-economic impact assessment and so on. So it's capturing the journey, but at the end, we have to come to that point of desirability, that at least the committee did see the desirability of the bill and adopted for this. But when I say my notes, there's a problem there, is that in my notes, there was something like I didn't see, which is important in the decision making. So if it's there now, it's fine. it's about the submission received from Mr. Sani, Samuel Zwane, right? Because we took a position not to call Mr. Zwane for public hearing and accepted for oral presentation and accepted his presentation as part of the comments received in the public participation process. So that's the part I didn't see, because it shouldn't be like it was never considered, but we took it not to have him to come and do oral, but accepted that he made that submission, which was more on the technology side and how the post office improved its work. So that's the part committee support and members that I wanted to raise for, so that the record reflects properly, but also the message out there that we do value the submissions that we make and consider them, make a decision on the score. I hope Honorable Bolana have assisted you with regard to this one. Then, of course, the corporate plan part of it is because we have dealt with it, which is the reason we took it back, so that it comes back after that submission of 30th November, as I did in the opening. But of course, we still have to progress. Yes.
As I beg your indulgence, Chairperson, on a matter of procedure, on the agenda today we have 2 items, which is the deliberation and finalisation of the SAPO amendment bill and the adoption of the minutes and outstanding report. Just so that I'm understanding, this is the actual, we are dealing with only one outstanding report, or is there going to be 2, considering that we also have the other SAPC one which was sent? And if they could just remind me, if committee support can just remind me when this was sent, because I remember I have gone through this, but I don't know how I saved it, just to see if I can make any contribution to it, Chair. And thank you.
Chairperson,
Yeah.
if I can just come in, Chair, the adoption of the minutes and the outstanding report would be the SAPC corporate plan report. When we finalize the bill, as you've indicated, this report is just the final process of adopting the bill. I'll just check the email that I've sent the date now while I'm speaking. Thank you, Chair.
I'm sure you got it, Honorable Bodlani. We are concluding.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Thank you.
So in that score, honorable members, we'll just have that line because we did process it as such.
Chairperson, can you just repeat the line you want to add there, Chair? A decision was taken.
Now, the committee took a decision not to invite Mr. Samuel Zwane for oral presentation to the committees that were content with the written submission received. Okay, so we can deal with that. I'm trying to maximize the time we have. So, but the members to understand where we are now. So can I have formally a mover to adopt that there's desirability for the bill by adopting the report, which also places it on record that there is an objection recorded from the side of the Democratic Alliance. Can I then have the mover?
I move, Chair.
Can I get a seconder?
I second, Honourable Chair.
Thank you. Any objection? No objection. Then the report is agreed to. We'll then, at this point, thank again the legal unit of parliament as presented by Mr. Tekada and state law advisors presented by Ms. Mdlulu, as well as the representatives of the department that have been through this process as people responsible to also clarify matters that arise. We really appreciate, but I must also appreciate Deputy Minister that at the political level you take interest by being present as we deal with this piece of legislation, which seeks to be also an intervention in a troubled post office. So we really appreciate that you are here as we make legislative interventions. Civil society structures and all South Africans who have been following this process. We hope the same would happen as we deal with the other bill that is before the committee, but out for public participation. So with that, I would still not hold you, those who would want to be excused from the platform, to do other duties as the committee does its duty of adopting minutes and adopting the other report. But if you so decide to stay, let it be. You are welcome. Thank you. We will now committee support move to the next.
The SABC Corporate Plan Report, Chairperson, outstanding.
As we said, we'll again go on the page by page, hurry but slowly.
Chair.
Honorable Bodani, I can't see on my side, so if a member wants to speak, you'll do that. Just give indication to the chair. Thank you. Honorable Bodani, you are on
Chair,
page.
on the second page, first paragraph, I think like other entities consider. I think no, that's fine. That's just something with consideration. The reason I thought it would be prudent, Chairperson, to already at that point.
That's under intro or entity overview.
The second paragraph on page 2.
Okay.
Chair, I thought it would be prudent to say that the sentence that starts with the debate on the National Assembly for budget was held, to maybe provide reasons the same way that we do further down in the body of the report, that the corporate plan was delayed as a result of allowing the new board to familiarize themselves with the environment. If we could just qualify why the report was late and why the committee made provision for a late submission of the report. I'm not sure if it's, that was my concern on that paragraph, Chair. Thanks.
Can we just go up first? Yeah. Yes. That's why. That's on just at the bottom of page 1. However, the SAPC had not tabled its corporate plan when the committee reviewed the annual performance plan. Then you can go to that one. I just want to check, Honorable Botan, because this is a continuation after that. What were you suggesting?
Chairperson, I am suggesting that we already provide an explanation on why the SAPC was not able to provide a corporate plan, and that the portfolio committee took into consideration that the board was new, because it is mentioned later in the report. but to give context, as soon as the SAPC not being able to table is mentioned in the report, I think it would really give better context to, because now it tells us the SAPC did not, but it does not tell us why. But later in the report, it amplifies why the SAPC. So my suggestion was to just already deal with the reasons why the SAPC did not provide their report. Thanks, Chair.
No, I take it that members would have heard your point. It's already in the report. It shouldn't be a harm to restate the point right in the beginning to clarify, at least even for a person who will still read the report going down right in the beginning. An objection to that, honorable members? I don't seem to.
Honorable Chair, no objection at all. I think it assists us to give more clarification.
Okay, so we can then we'll have that correction, and then let's move on the entity overview. That's the end of page 2. We'll now move to 3.
Chair?
Honorable Polani, on page?
We are on page 3, I believe.
Yes. And yeah, we now move to page 3.
The third sentence on that page, where it says sometimes after servicing all its internal obligations, the SAPC has a surplus. I don't know. It does not tell us how the benefit of that sentence, because it just says revenue generation, but I'm not sure what that sentence wants to assist the SAPC in, because that revenue generation does not necessarily improve the status of the SAPC. I felt that sentence, I could not find its relevance or benefit to the report, but I'm happy if colleagues feel that it's necessary.
Any other member who may want to contribute before I respond?
Honorable Chair. Oh.
Yeah.
Honorable
Yes.
Chair. No, Chair. I do take the point that is raised by Honorable Potlani, but it is my plea, Chair, that it is just really expanding on the existing issue that was reported to us. I see no harm on the Chair retaining it as it is, because it just gives again deeper qualification and context on which we are operating. I think, in my view, Chair, there's no harm to retain it, unless it's contrary to the main point that we raised initially about the state of the SAPC.
Yeah, I think I tend to agree, Honorable Mtagane, that Honorable Podlani, probably my reading of it myself was such that it does not necessarily talks about surplus from a point of extra revenue or money left, but it's about also the facilities. It talks to the facilities in the main, which can then also be rendered to generate additional revenue, right? So
no,
that's how I took it necessarily, because we do know that from a point of the state of the SAPC, there's nothing called surplus when they are posting losses that you have and the challenges they have financially. So that's how I understood it in the way Honorable Mutagane.
I rest my case, Chairperson.
Thank you. We can move. Hurry but slowly. Then with the corrections made, get the mover and seconder for this report.
Honorable Chair, can a meeting help us just to go back to the recommendation in terms of the Roman figures, because it was too fast for us and our eyes are no longer picking up very easy. And then I think that gave us time, because those are very important points.
I know, Honorable, I've been trying to say hurry but slowly.
I think there's a bigger contradiction on that statement. No. No, Chair. I think is capturing exactly what we discussed. We are happy with it, Chair.
Let's move. Okay, otherwise that one summarizes the commitment of the committee. May I then have the mover and seconder with the amendments made?
I move, Honorable Chairperson.
Honorable
Thank you.
moves. Seconder. Seconder. Honorable Dunn seconds. Any objection in us adopting the report? No objection. Agreed to. We now move to the minutes of the Portfolio Committee on Communications and Digital Technologies, the meeting held on Tuesday, 14 November 2023, which was on deliberations on SAPO and adoption of minutes. Just go up on apologies. Sorry, back again on apologies. Okay. I think if I listened to Honorable Mlala well, so that it helps us in the other meetings, he indicated that it was a standing apology of Honorable Kubeka. So if you can, in brackets, put that so that at least it's understood. We can then move. Just wanted that to be cleared. So those are the minutes. I now present them for your approval, honorable members. I get a mover and seconder.
Honorable Chair, I move for the approval of the minutes.
Honorable Dan moves. Can I get a seconder?
Second, Chair.
Honorable Kumbu seconds. Any objection in us adopting the minutes? Seems no objection, so the minutes are approved by the committee. May I just check committee support? I take it that would have been last item.
That's the last item, Chairperson.
Thank you. Once again, thank you, honorable members. We've now concluded the business for our meeting. I can only plead to the department and everyone else, including entities that need to produce the reports, that if we can get the reports well on time for our coming meeting. As you would know on the program, that there's also the draft legacy report, and I'll urge members to, once received, go through it as it represents the work we've done in the period. So we have to ensure it's captured properly. By the time we get to a final report, at least it should help the next term that we applied our minds to, and easy to follow the legacy report. But as I said, we have those additional items, the business rescue for the post office, an update on that, as well as the white paper on the audio, visual and audio content services that the department would be presenting to the committee. So with that, honorable members, this meeting stays adjourned until we meet again. Thank you.